Hi, I'm Mike K. Smith, and each day in October I'll be making new beats, sounds, textures and tracks as part of Rachel K. Collier's Patreon community Beatober challenge. In this video I'm going to walk you through the process for creating my sounds from day one, which was an arpeggiated pattern. First I created an 8-bar clip with a stacked chord loosely based around D minor. But the key thing is that the tonal centre of this is a little ambiguous because some of those notes could appear in chords from other scales. I'm doing one of my favourite tricks, which is to select all notes and then reduce the probability of each note so that each time the clip comes round, the chord will slightly change. I'm also adding some randomness to the velocity so that each time the note is played, you get a slightly different feel. I'm using an arpeggiator here with a beat retrigger of 7/8, which means that every 7 quavers or 7/8 notes, it will retrigger. The random plugin at the beginning says that 25% of the time it'll choose a new note 5 semitones above or below the current note, which transposes the chord. This doesn't often sound musical, and so applying the scale plugin just quantizes those notes to the D minor scale, which is what we want. So I've let that play and then selected a few patterns that sound nice together and then edited those into 8-bar loops again and pulled them back into session view. The MIDI from this track is being sent through to the Palace instrument, which is in the Palace track. Another thing to point out is that I'm using a random LFO with smoothing applied to the gate of the arpeggiator. This means that as the clips play, occasionally you'll get longer notes, occasionally you'll get shorter notes, and that just adds to the variety and keeps the interest of the listener up. The Palace plugin by Max for Cats is a lovely semi-modular synthesizer where you can use patch chord on the lower section there to route LFOs and signals out to influence parameters of other parts of the synth. It has a nice delay, and I'm also using the space setting to just add some reverb and make it sound lush. Of course, it wouldn't be ambient music if we didn't drown it in delay and reverb. So I'm using the Spectral Time plugin here, which is a new one for Live 11, and it just adds a nice delay, reverby type sound quality. I'm using an LFO to change the dry-wet signal so that occasionally we just get different amounts of that spectral time. And it wouldn't be one of my tracks unless I threw Valhalla Shimmer on it. This is a beautiful plugin from Valhalla DSP that adds a beautiful top-end shimmer to anything you put it on. I'm also applying the LFO trick to the mix here, so again we get different levels of the shimmer effect over time. I recorded several minutes of that pattern. I trimmed out the ones that I liked, and in particular this little pattern sounded really nice together, and then what I did was to go in and add or change some of the top notes just to kind of add in some human touch to that pattern. This is a process I like to call gardening, because you're taking the random generative stuff and then you're just picking out the bits that you like, leaving the weeds behind, and making the top bit nice to listen to.